Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world, and whenever you are tuning into this video. My name is James Porcelli.
I'm Brian Thomas.
And welcome to another very special edition of the Ruthless Talk podcast.
All after Mania.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania is over. WrestleMania is officially in the rearview mirror, and now it is time to dissect the aftermath, which is Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, after coming off of arguably one of the worst WrestleManias in recent memory. Now the question is that can WWE right their wrongs? Can WWE get things back on track? Can WWE find something to gain some spark, some momentum heading into Backlash and heading into this summer? Will they? We're going to talk about this entire show, Raw post-Mania. We will also talk about the SmackDown post-Mania show for this coming weekend. This coming weekend, I should say, will be the final episode of season number 7, as your boys will be taking a week off. I know, frickin' it's been 7 seasons of doing this with over 2+ years. It's crazy. Again, wouldn't happen any other way. It's been great making content for all of you guys that listen and watch all of this stuff. A lot has been going on over the last several weeks with the round table and gearing up for WrestleMania. And let's just say, again, I can't speak for both of us, but one of us is pretty burnt out after everything with WrestleMania and how, let's face it,
especially with the dud that it was, man. Like,
exactly.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just how unfortunate WrestleMania ended up coming across, and how the events took place and the build-up and all of this stuff. Let's just say we're a little bit burnt out. So we will be taking a week off, but we will be back the week of Backlash, as of course Backlash is going to be May 10th. So before you blink, we're going to be dissecting Backlash. We'll be talking Backlash. Backlash will be pretty much done and over with. So I'm forgetting where Backlash is. That's in St. Louis. It's going to be in St. Louis, of course, because it's, we'll get it mentioned, John Cena and who he's going to be fighting for this championship, of course. We'll talk about that. So tonight, or today's episode, we got Raw post-Mania, which surprisingly, and I'll just start off with this, man, Monday Night Raw after Mania felt more like Mania than WrestleMania itself.
Bro.
Honestly. Bro. Now, was there a bunch of what the fuck moments? Sure, absolutely, and we're going to go over them. But, man, I don't know.
There was some nice shit, too, yeah.
Yeah, there was some pretty good shit, too, to really, at least for 1 week, to gain our attention. But Brian, we've seen this before, to where
for one night only. Once in a blue
moon, bro, they'll put on a decent show. But this is where the inconsistency happens, man. They'll go straight back into their inconsistent ways, and they'll put on dud of a shows for 2 to 3+ hours. So for 1 week, this was a really good show, and we're going to go all over it in its entirety for Raw post-Mania. However, before we do get into the show, and again, there's a lot of takeaways, there's a lot to dissect with it. The Rock, he made an appearance on the Pat McAfee show. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he made an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, but was unable, or was TBA for WrestleMania. So he's on the Pat McAfee show, and he talks about a lot of stuff. He talks about Seth Rollins. He talks about Jacob Fatu. Talks about a potential Cody Rhodes heel turn, that he's been thinking about having an idea of turning Cody Rhodes heel, which I don't know. I mean, Cody Rhodes is doing just fine. If you just give him proper booking, he would be just fine as a babyface, right? So talks a lot about that. He goes into depth about, how this is such fucking bullshit. How it was Triple H's idea to turn John Cena heel. Yeah, that's fucking my ass, man. It was clearly, I mean, if you're not going to sit here and tell me that it's Triple H's idea, when we all know it was John Cena that walked into Triple H's office to say, hey, I have this great idea for a heel turn.
Whatever. Like,
let's fucking do it.
Come on, bro.
Exactly, man. Stop. You're not fucking fooling me. You're not fooling Brian. You're not fooling fucking anybody with those comments. So stop. But the biggest comment of them all, right? And this kind of piggybacks off of the very last thing that we touched upon in our last episode, which was the drizzling shits of what was arguably, again, we talk about Mania as a whole, but this main event in particular which was probably one of arguably the worst WrestleMania main events we have ever seen, right? Now, to be fair, I liked the slow pace. I didn't mind the slow pace at
not
all.
the
It was,
match itself.
yeah,
But just,
exactly. But
yes.
it was towards the end with bringing out Travis Scott, and he pulls the referee out the ring. There's no DQ. Now you're blurring the lines. Everything is a mess and it's all over the place. And your final last image is John Cena winning this championship, to where, again, the matchup towards the end was very, very messy and all over the place. But great, he wins that 17th world title. But your final image is just Travis Scott and John Cena. Like, we're ever going to go back and rewatch this match and reminisce anything about this pay-per-view, right? And now we get to The Rock. And now Rock makes probably the greatest excuse of all time in regards to why he was not there. The reason why, guys, The Rock says that he is not there is because that he wanted to give John Cena the spotlight. He wanted the spotlight to be on Cena. He didn't want to overshadow John Cena and his 17th World Championship. That's pretty much, in totality, why he pretty much wasn't there or decided not to be there. Bro, this story, Dwayne, has been revolved around you. We said that in our last episode. We're going to say it now. This is your story. If you did not,
or at least they presented it that way on TV.
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah.
I mean, if we go back to Elimination Chamber, the whole point of you being at Elimination Chamber and the whole point of John Cena turning heel was that you wanted Cody Rhodes to sell his soul to you. And instead of Cody Rhodes doing that, you had pretty much John Cena align forces with you to be alongside this storyline with you heading into WrestleMania, which is, I don't know, the grandest stage of professional fucking wrestling. And Brian, before I get to you, right, I'll end it with this too. I am hearing the most dog shit and most laughable excuse in the IWC, right? Because John Cena made the quote about, I'm gonna ruin wrestling, right? It's just like, people say that I can't wrestle. Well, guess what? I don't have to wrestle, right? In order to please everybody and to please the fans and to please, right? You're not gonna get what you want. And granted, John Cena is doing his part and he's doing it very well. And I like the heel role to say, yeah, you say I can't wrestle? Okay, cool. I don't need to fricking wrestle. All I need to talk is on this microphone, and I just need to show up for a couple of dates and just do my thing and do whatever, right? But as far as like, you're ruining wrestling because you're not giving the fans what you want, that's why The Rock wasn't there. Bro, like, this is WrestleMania. If you're going to tell a story with The Rock and to go about saying, we're not going to give the fans what we want, we're not going to do this and that, you're not going to use WrestleMania as a stepping stone in that shtick, Stunad. You're not going to do that. That shouldn't be a part of the shtick because, guys, it's WrestleMania. Like, what are we talking about here, Brian? The fact that it's not even just The Rock. It's the fans that want to enable this fucking product. It is laughable to where we want to create bullshit fucking excuses because, it was done bad on purpose because they want the fans, or they don't want to give the fans what they want. What the fuck are we talking about, guys?
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
It was a horseshit main event. Again, we understood what was trying to be done with the match itself, about how slow pace it was, and we understand why John Cena, why it was slow paced, because with all the amount of projects and stuff for Hollywood, there's only so much that he can do.
Sure.
And of course, to go the heel route, it's easy for him to do that, right? So we get it. But guys, for you to not have The Rock, right? To not have The Rock at WrestleMania, Rock, for you to not show up, and then eventually, sure, you might show up in a future event down the road, but guess what? It's going to be too little too late, because clearly you've sold your soul a long ass time ago, along with Triple H, along with every executive suit and tie that's in that that's backstage and in that creative writer's room and whatever, right? So where y'all don't give a single shit about telling a consistent storyline. Y'all want to just pull back the curtain and just reminisce or fucking gloat about record revenue and fucking gate numbers and record attendance and all of this other fucking bullshit. And clearly you guys have sold your own soul to TKO and Endeavor. It's clear as fucking
For the
day.
money.
More
for the money. Follow the money, man.
Point. You'll come out with your final boss attire, right? And you'll do like CM Punk would say, like, do your bullshit, which is this freaking arm slap. Like, guys, let's cut the shit. Listen, I like The Rock, right? The Rock is no doubt, again, he'll know more about professional wrestling than any of us in the IWC, right? Your decision to not show up WrestleMania and for everybody in attendance to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to have that WrestleMania
Scott.
To go out like that.
Yep.
It was not it, bro. Was not fucking it, because you screwed a lot of fucking people. And even if you want to go back and tell this freaking story or reminisce and follow up on the story, it's gonna be too little too late, bro. It's just not, because you just show up whenever you want to feel like it now and talk about revenue and talk about, you know, record attendances and all this other bullshit. So, bro, you can sit there and explain yourself why you weren't there and you want to blur the lines and make yourself sound like the smartest person in the room, when we all know, dude, we see through your bullshit the way we see through Triple H's bullshit. This was not it, bro. If you want to do that shtick of John Cena and say, hey, we're not going to give the fans what we want and we're going to ruin wrestling, but you have to tell that story. There's no reason why you're not at the grandest stage of all of professional wrestling, which is WrestleMania. It's fucking bullshit. Cut the crap. We see through your bullshit. Stop it. Brian, any takes, man, before we get to Monday Night Raw about The Rock and his comments?
Oh, James. Where do I start, man? Because, yeah, I'm going in on Triple H and The Rock, too. Man, I'm just in it. I almost crashed out at work yesterday. I'm just in that fucking mode right now.
I feel you, bro. Yeah.
Man, listen, you know, I say this as a lifelong wrestling fan and will continue to be a lifelong wrestling fan.
Absolutely.
You know, recent comments by Triple H and The Rock, right? Both of these individuals who have been at the top of their performance at the WrestleManias, these two individuals sold out arenas.
Right.
They know what it is. They know what a good storyline is. They know what a consistent storyline is. They know that if you're just out there randomly doing bullshit, it ain't going to fucking work. They know all this. And James, like you said, like you and I come on here, man. And look, yeah, I know Triple H and The Rock, man, they've forgot more wrestling than I'll ever know. I get it.
Right.
I'm just at the point where, like, this is what I expect out of people in life and dealing with me. Like, if just tell the truth, you know, because yes, this at the end of the day, whether we want to say that, you know, this booker or that booker or this match or that storyline, at the end of the day, all of this, the fucking sponsors, the buildings, the Rock salary, Triple H's salary. It's all about the fucking money. Period. Yeah. End of story. Yeah. Every single one of them up there, Rock included, Triple H included, Nick Khan included, will take that dollar regardless of how shitty the product is. All of them will. And you know what? Most people will. Maybe if I was in that Triple H's shoes, maybe I would do the same. I would hope, at least if I did, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. We're fucking making money. We're doing all right. It seems to be. So, but just don't give the bullshit. Like, just say why you did it, right? Because here's the thing, right? The Rock, you don't want to steal the spotlight from Triple H. As big as The Rock is, right? There are individuals within wrestling that even at WrestleMania, if The Rock shows up, you're not going to steal the spotlight from them. John Cena is one of them. The Triple H is one of them. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. You know, maybe not now, but back in the day. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, if Rock had shown up here at WrestleMania to help John Cena is going to be fucking fine. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Come on. So it's this bullshit of like, and now with The Rock's comments, right? Of seemingly like all this shit, him showing up at the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, that was just random, meant nothing. It was just to sell tickets. Meanwhile, you have a whole goddamn story that you created, and now you want to back away from it and say, I'm not a part of this. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know, I don't know. Yeah, all of them are fat cats. They don't have to care.
No.
You know, and I don't say that to, yes, I'm sure The Rock cares about wrestling and Triple H, and I'll even say this about Triple H. You know, if you go back to his Hall of Fame induction speech, I do think he is a guy that, coming off the heels of Vince McMahon, he is a guy, at least in the locker room, with, not that he's going to get creative, right, but how he handles talent and the professionalism within that. I think he's excellent in a role like that. Absolutely. But if this is what you're giving us creatively, you and The Rock, two of the greatest superstars we have ever seen at the height of wrestling.
Right.
This is garbage, dude. Fucking garbage. And as a wrestling fan that does love this, and we are wrestling fans. We are fickle. Last night, right, Raw, yes, that was good. There was a lot of good shit, returns, surprise things. That was good, right?
Right.
For one fucking night.
Right.
On the heels of a shit WrestleMania. And now, yes, you're gonna, oh, look how good Raw was. Yeah, that was good. But you all shit the bed on the biggest stage, man. So it doesn't fucking matter to me.
No. Yeah.
And that's just, I don't know, man. And I'll even go back with The Rock too. You go back to the shit he did with the Bloodline. You know, going back a year and a half now. Like, did that shit ever mean anything, or did you just come out there and, oh, I'll just hold up 1, 2, 3 that means absolutely fucking nothing. I'll get it. I'll say, Cody, I'm coming after you, but it means nothing. I'll create a story that I want Cody's soul, and then I already have John Cena waiting in the wings, but it means nothing. Right. What the fuck, man? Right. Get the fuck out of here.
And again, I'm sure to a certain degree, like, the dude has something planned for when he does, because he's going to come back and he's going to make an appearance and maybe try to tease something.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yes, he'll make appearances.
It's going to be too late, dude. No one's going to freaking care because
I don't. And I'm sure. Yes, the arena's going to pop. They're going to advertise it. Yes, the rating, you'll get the record ratings. The record, get the fuck out of here. Fuck y'all, man. Fuck y'all.
I hear you, bro. And listen, to kind of say what you said about Rock and Triple H and, like, you know, the creative ideas, you know, that we've heard him say on the Pat McAfee show, and right, and we've talked about Triple H and his creative decisions, right? Listen, I say this all the time, man. Listen, The Rock and Triple H, y'all are obviously, arguably, one of the greatest performers that have ever stepped foot in a wrestling ring, right? No one is going to dispute that. And like we said in the beginning, you guys will know more about pro wrestling than any other podcaster or critic, as Triple H now wants to call people now, right? No doubt. As a performer, y'all have the knowledge, y'all have the creative mind of, you know, how wrestling is supposed to be, right? But clearly you've sold out since you've joined this whole TKO and Endeavor stuff. And also, not to add this in as well, well, I shouldn't say not, but I'm going to. Just because you were a great, legendary performer does not mean you should be a creative fucking writer.
Nope.
Period. I don't give a shit anymore, guys. Listen, like you said about Triple H, man, I'm sure that dude is well respected in the locker room and how he treats certain talents with certain respect, even though you hear a lot of other people to where say, hey,
you're right. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have spoken on that, but
people like others say, like, hey, you're doing such a great job, and all of a sudden the snap of a finger, right, they're already fucking gone and they're not even given a
I guess I would still say it's a massive improvement from anything that's really happened in wrestling locker
Sure.
rooms backstage previous ever before Vince after
Sure, there's more of a
yes
it's a less of a toxic environment,
yeah
right? Than
yeah
where like with Vince McMahon, there was a lot you can feel like I guess you could say like there was a lot of hostility in the air when
yeah
Vince McMahon was in a room or was in a certain arena, right? But as far as with Triple H, right? I guess you could say like, Randy Orton has talked about in the past, right? I'm sure people like, Cody Rhodes have talked about in the past, right? And listen, we get it. You have respect for this dude because of what he did in the industry. But I tell
mhm.
this to everybody, right? The way that Triple H has booked so many of his talent, right? People like Gunther, right? And so many other people like Drew McIntyre right now, to where his booking has been inconsistent as a heel. I am telling you this right now. If Vince McMahon was booking Triple H the way that Triple H is booking his talent, Triple H would not have the reputation of his character the
For
way it
sure,
is today and would not
100%,
be in that fucking Hall of
100%.
Fame that he inducted himself into and that he talked for over an
Well,
hour when there was 3 o'clock in the morning and you can literally see people like
was
Booker
it
T.
three? I didn't really know what time it was, but I know
Oh,
I've
dude,
seen the memes. It
by
was
the time the event was over, it was nearly 3 o'clock in the morning, bro. And you could see people like
oh
Booker T and Jey Uso. They're like half
man, we got
asleep
to perform tomorrow, motherfucker.
while like Triple H went over an hour within his speech. Like, you want to talk
yeah,
about a
yeah.
dude that loves to hear himself fucking talk. It's ridiculous. It is unbelievable. And guys, that's not even the worst part. And I'll end it with this and we'll get to Monday Night Raw. There's now this new Netflix television series called Unreal. So where now you're going to see, we talk about pulling
Yep,
back the
yep.
curtain. We're just burning the fucking curtain. You might as well take a match, fucking light it, and just burn the motherfucker because nobody fucking cares anymore. This is what I mean, guys, about selling out, right? So where the mystique about pro wrestling, why we grew up loving pro wrestling, is fucking dead, and it's never going to be the same, and why it should be called out. So where now you're going to see Triple H
And
and
that's
other
kind of why John Cena's thing makes a little bit more sense if you're paying attention.
right. And so now you're
Yep.
with this whole TV series, right? You're going to see behind the scenes of the writers room, the creative writers room, to where Triple H, and honestly, like maybe I would watch it to where like I want to see all this dumb ass fucking bullshit that goes behind the scenes too.
Like,
But
right, everything, and that's what you did. Like all
right.
these
And
ideas that I
like,
guess are being thrown around, and that's what you
geez,
went with.
right, exactly. But at the same time, guys, right outside of that,
Yeah, yeah.
like, guys, is nothing protected anymore? Like, do we seriously have sold out so much to where we are just going to just ruin everything? Legit ruin wrestling, as John Cena would say, right?
Yeah,
Legit
right.
pull back the fucking curtain non-stop. Non-stop, man. Nobody, guys, and I mean nobody, needs to fucking see the behind the scenes freaking bullshit. No,
Of
nobody needs to
everything.
see it. Of everything, bro. We're pro wrestling fans. We just want to watch the show, be captivated, and suspend disbelief. I can't suspend disbelief, Brian, when I am constantly watching shit like LFG, to where Undertaker is teaching other prospects how to throw a fucking punch, a fake ass fucking punch. I don't need to see that shit. I don't care. It may be cool to some people. I get it. Like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this is what goes behind the scene. No doubt it's cool. But guys, you're going backstage, right, with people, wrestlers who are trying to build animosity, and you're trying to tell that story for us to believe it. And now you're going backstage and pulling back the curtain and say, oh, all that storytelling, oh, it's fake because here's what's going on behind the scenes. They don't really hate each other. They're best
What a
friends. Look
lovable
at them.
guy.
What a
Like
lovable
we
person this
already
guy
like
is.
we all know this already.
Right.
Like
We
we
know
we
this.
know it.
We know
Like
what's going on. Why do we need to constantly show it? Like,
right.
guys, like, cut the shit. We enable stuff, and people will say, like, oh, it's just like, you're just figuring out that wrestling's fake. Yeah, no shit, it's fucking fake. That's not what we're saying, bro. Nobody needs to see this bullshit go behind backstage because we already fucking know it's pro wrestling. We're suspending disbelief. We just care about the storylines and your character and putting on a good performance in a show, right? If you want to show like, behind the scenes of like of two wrestlers and a few like 10 plus years ago, 20 plus
Yeah.
years ago, or something along, maybe five some odd, maybe like at the bare minimum, then that makes sense, right? Because they no longer work for the company.
Storylines are
they
right.
no longer have to protect the character. Then that makes sense. But you're showing people backstage who are still trying to build tension and a feud between each other, and you're expecting us, the fans, to, freaking try to BS ourselves and believing that there's true animosity and there's true realism to this when we keep seeing shit backstage, bro. It's fucking bullshit. Because
here's the thing, and I know there's different age groups, obviously, of wrestling fans. So obviously people are in different stages of their wrestling fandom.
Right.
But seriously, like if you've been watching wrestling for any number of years, right? I mean, I assume it wouldn't take that long once you're an adult, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like you can tell, or at least I can, James. I know you can, and many other wrestling fans can, right? Like, you can tell when there's real tension. Charlotte and Tiff, right? Like we know already. We know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, man. And like I said, man, Triple H is just so concerned about, instead of like him going to the camera, right? Him going to the Jimmy Fallon show and the Pat McAfee show, he's going to have the cameras come to him. And he's going to say like, oh, wow, what a creative genius Triple H is, man. Look at all the great creative decisions he's made. Look at him and his team collectively come together. What a bunch of fucking bullshit, guys. It's like, oh, James, well, if you don't like it, then don't watch it. Then you're damn right I'm not going to fucking watch it. I won't care less. I have no fucking interest in watching this fucking bullshit, which is why I haven't watched LFG. I don't care to watch it. I already know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't need to freaking watch it. I don't need to watch what goes on behind the scenes when I am a fan, right? Or I guess you could just say, again, a critic, because Triple H looks at us now as just fucking critics, right? But I'm not, I watch pro wrestling, guys, for the stories, the characters, and the badass feuds that comes along with it. I don't watch pro wrestling to watch constant behind the scenes every single freaking time, whether it's on television, whether it's on social media. I don't need to freaking see it. I want to believe in the character. I want to believe in the storyline, even as a grown fucking adult, right? Whether you're watching a movie or whatever it is.
And don't tell me for all those other people out there, you're a grown adult. Man, you watch a movie, right? Denzel Washington, right? Any fucking character he's ever played, you believe in that character when he's playing that role in that movie, don't you? Yes, because you want to.
Absolutely.
You believe in him.
And guess what? We know what goes behind the scenes during the fucking movie. We know.
He's not really a cop. Yeah, he doesn't really save kidnap children in heroic ways.
Man. We know this shit. It's a movie, right? It's suspending disbelief, right? Telling the story, believing in the story. Guys, what is so fucking hard to understand? It's just like, my God, man. Yeah. But guess what, Brian? They're gonna keep doing this shit on Netflix. You're right. All of these other
because they are making record revenue.
Because they are making fucking money. Not just WWE, bro, but it's people like Netflix and all these other people. They're all fucking making money. So it's fuck us, the fans, and it's just, hey, they take all of our money and they give us less and less of a good product. But we'll show you all the behind the scenes.
Seriously, I hope people enjoyed $8,000 tickets for Travis. And I know it's a whole event, and yes, I'm sure there's many enjoyable things.
Absolutely.
But God damn it, and this is again night 2 of WrestleMania, so your main event of your biggest show, $8,000 for Travis Scott.
Yeah, man. So it's it's unreal, man. It's unreal to where you want to give us probably one of the worst manias in history, but guess what? We got a new television series coming up. We got a new docu-series, right?
Yeah.
Look at all the people in attendance that came to WrestleMania, right? To where it's like, 61,000 sold out. Apparently, it's even with more people, it was also sold out. They're just making up numbers as they go along. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, all these people want to bullshit you about all the Stone Cold comes out, almost freaking runs a lady over in the front row because Stone Cold's probably
Stone Cold. How do you fucking miss? God damn it! Come on, Stone Cold. You're better than that.
What a train wreck, bro, of an event. Seriously.
Jesus.
My God. And people and people enable this product, right? Again, if people like it, that's one thing. We're not telling you what to like or dislike, but bro, like you're not gonna sit there and bullshit us and try to enable why something is
And
being
like we're
done right
supposed
or
to
wrong.
celebrate it as it's the best ever. Like,
Right.
bro,
Stop.
when it is the best ever, when it is holy shit worthy and whatever, when it is
Absolutely.
epic WrestleMania moments, trust,
Yeah.
I will give that shit its due.
Same.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, for sure. And like I said, just like me as well, right? So, and that's it, man. Let's move along here.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get into
Let's
Raw because
get to Monday Night Raw.
there was some nice shit in Raw,
There was
but again,
again,
we'll see.
right?
We'll
I mean, like
see.
I said, Monday Night Raw felt more like WrestleMania than
Yep.
WrestleMania did than a WrestleMania. So yeah, man, and that's what Brian, that's what pisses me off too. Before we, again, this is the last thing I'll bring up. This company knows how to structure a good flowing show, but they don't
Yep.
do it all the fucking time. That's why, man, I always go the route to say either they just don't care or they're inept. And I like to just say that it's pretty much both. They don't care and they're inept, but you see shows like you did this past Monday and you're going, why are we not getting that at least majority of the time, right? Maybe not
Yeah,
all the
man.
time, right? I get it.
Right.
Nobody's perfect, right? But majority of the time, you should be having good, consistent, flowing television that's keeping people captivated, right? And that's what infuriates me about shows this past Monday, to where, yes, it was overall a good show, but it's the fact that we already know moving forward that you're not going to get the same show next week. You're probably not going to get the same show in 2 weeks, bro. You're not. And
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
something changes, bro, that's the narrative. That's just the narrative of this company. So
Yep.
speaking of Raw after WrestleMania, let's dive straight into the show as we will start right from the jump, which is your new WWE champion, your 17-time world champion, which is John Cena. He comes out. He now has a blackout Titantron, to where there's no more colorful colors and screaming lights and all this stuff. It's just John Cena with his print, his fine print on the Titantron, with his music, of course, coming out with his snarly look. And he comes out with the towel with the title around his waist, and he walks down to the ring. The ring announcer re-announces him, of course, as the real champion, right? It's like he writes a note saying like, oh, I'm sorry, apparently my introduction was disrespectful. So he calls him, of course, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the 17-time world champion, the last real champion, John Cena. And Cena's great. He was just like, he's like, you think now that you're cheering me, you think that all is forgotten, like I'm just gonna forgive you? That's not how a working relationship works here, people.
A
So I love
functional
this.
relationship.
A
Yeah.
functional
Yeah.
relationship works.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's not how a functional relationship works. I love that, man. So Cena's, again, he's crushing it for what's been given to him, for what he has. He cuts a promo again, continuing to go after the fans. Of course, now saying that he's the last real champion. He talks, and I thought this was really cool, to where like he counts down all of the dates, right? It's like, you guys have no
Yeah.
idea how time
Yep.
is flying by. I think it started like 36 some odd dates when he started, right? It's like now it's like down to like 27 or something. It's like you got
27, I think.
27
Yeah.
dates, to where once we get to 0 and I still have that championship, I'm walking out as the last real world champ. So I like what his goal is, what his objective
Yep.
is, holding on to
Yep.
the title. So I do like that. So him telling that type of story, I love it. So everything what John Cena did in this promo was great. So he goes on, he hoists up the title, saying that the last real champion is here. Randy Orton comes up from behind, right? John Cena says, "Oh shit," as he gives him a freaking
Yeah.
RKO
Yep. Shit.
in the middle of the ring. And there you go, as Randy Orton hoists up the title, and there's your main event for Backlash, guys, because it's in St. Louis. Randy Orton is from
Yep.
St. Louis. That's his hometown. That's what you're gonna get. So I mean, look, man, for somebody that came through the ruthless aggression era, man, like I don't mind this at all. This is no harm, no
They've
foul.
had many great matches,
Many
great
great
feud in the
matches.
past. Yep.
I will say, to be fair, I will be open-minded to say, because it is 2025, right? To say, oh, John Cena and Orton, I've seen them so many times, I don't really care. I hear you, honestly. Listen, 2025, Randy Orton and John Cena, I could see why people wouldn't be I guess, truly invested about it, right? But listen, I don't mind it at all. Again, I could be biased because, again, I'm from the Ruthless Aggression era. I've seen many of their matches. I've seen many of their feuds. And I guess you could say it's different now because now Orton is the face and now John Cena is the heel. So, yeah, no harm, no foul. The only problem I do have, Brian, is that when John Cena does come back, right? It's just that we've seen this lately with Cody Rhodes, building up to WrestleMania, right? To where, John Cena will cut it on the microphone, do a great job, by the way. He'll say his words, he'll cut on the microphone. And then just by the end of the segment, he's just down and out looking up at the lights. And then that's your segment. It's kind of starting to get redundant, just a little bit, to where you've already done this with Cody and now you're doing this with Orton. So if you are going to do this to where, yes, there's still maybe a little bit more story left to tell between Cody Rhodes, or excuse me, with Randy Orton and John Cena, especially now with both of their characters flipped to where originally, Orton would be the heel and Cena would be the face, right? So, I mean, look, if you want to do this match at Backlash, which is going to happen, I just hope that you're just not doing the same shtick to where you've done this with Cody Rhodes. They'll come out, they'll say a few words. Again, they'll do really good on the microphone, get really good work, really good face-to-face. But, I've even said this, Brian, from the SmackDown after Mania, right? It's just like, you can't just rest on that. Like, you can't just rest. Like, at some point, you do have to truly get creative when John Cena is on the show, when he is advertised for the show, where you can't just have him just come out, cut a promo, and just spill everything that has been said around the IWC to get the oohs and the ahs from the crowd. Like, you can't just rest on that. Like, at some point, like, you have to get creative. It's important to do those types of promos, no question. But if you're just resting on that, then all right, we're kind of just getting redundant at that point. But overall, I mean, listen, Cena and Orton, let's rock out, man. I mean, let's see it again. I can understand why people may not be fond over this, but this is what we're doing. I guess you could say it's no harm, no foul because it is Backlash and not, let's say, like, yes, you could say at a WrestleMania or a freaking SummerSlam. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Again, I would still prefer Randy Orton at some point to also be a diabolical heel, but hopefully Randy Orton, he doesn't really go back to his like cringy type of like happy-go-lucky character as a face. Hopefully not. So we'll see. Time will only tell. But Brian, what do you think, man? This opening segment and now this potential main event for Backlash, which is Randy Orton and John Cena. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a good opening segment, man. Again, Cena, and that's why it's kind of so silly that The Rock would say something like, I didn't want to take like the spotlight away from Cena. Like, Cena, who he is in the wrestling industry and on the microphone and in that wrestling ring, like, he's going to do his thing regardless. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? I just think it's such a silly thing to say, but yeah, I mean, he rocked it. I think it was a good promo. The 27 dates. I'm going to talk about that for a minute because we know how kind of December goes within WWE, right? You got the holidays coming.
Yeah.
There's the tribute to the troops show, which I'm sure Cena will be at that one, no doubt.
Sure.
But I'm looking at this as, and maybe it goes into December, but I'm thinking on the last biggest stage, maybe they do it at the pay-per-view in December or whichever that is. But I would think it would be Survivor Series in November. So if you take those 27 dates and you just extrapolate that out to November, roughly 4 dates a month. So, I mean, that bodes well for wrestling fans that it, at least Cena, it seems like with that many dates, and now he is saying appearances and whatever. And I do expect him at some point, maybe during the summer or maybe right after SummerSlam or something, like he's not going to be there for like a few weeks.
Right.
But if these are the dates and this is the time, like it seems like he's going to be there fairly consistently telling this story. So I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Randy Orton, being his first opponent. I got no problem with that. I guess this is how I'm thinking about Cena's last run. And I've, kind of said this back from the jump. Now, obviously, his plan, what he's saying is he's just retiring with the title, right?
Right. Yeah.
So once you get to Survivor Series, you got one or two ways to go. Either he's gonna put somebody over that's an up and comer. I mean, could be a Jacob Fatu. Who knows? Or it's gonna be a vet. Maybe Cody. Gets the title back. Whatever. So I say all that to say why I like the match between Cena and Orton. I
Yeah.
just and I understand why you kind of have to start it right off with kind of like a big marquee match.
Yeah.
I would just maybe have liked to see that match between Orton later in the run as he gets,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, so, but all in all, no harm, no foul. I mean, Cena's going to retain. But Jesus Christ, if this is, I mean, like, you can't tell me, like, I mean, are him and Travis Scott kind of paired together now? Like, I don't know what the fuck this shit is, but please, God, no.
Travis
Um,
Scott.
yeah, so just, yeah, I mean, they'll show up, do their thing. Just make the fucking ending worthwhile, for God's sake. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I say it sucks, man. Because again, like we obviously him winning that 17th World Championship, like it had to happen. It had to happen at
Mm-hmm.
some point,
Mm-hmm.
and it just sucks that it had to happen in the most bizarre way possible, to where not a lot of people are really saying like, "Oh, hey, John Cena 17th world title." No, they're talking about how piss poor this freaking main event was and overall WrestleMania.
It's
That's what sucks about it, you know?
Yeah, as and me, right? And like I'm not saying that you or I like we're what I'm saying is I am a fucking wrestling fan, right? And
Yeah,
I want to remember these good, great moments,
absolutely.
even for people that I didn't like. And
Right.
I've been vocal about this, like I've never liked him.
Hmm.
Now he's, doing this, and yes, I wanted to sell it like never be when he was doing the face shit, like man, I don't care if you get to 17. As a matter of
Yeah,
fact, I don't want you to get to 17. But
absolutely. Yeah,
now you're there,
we're
and
there.
I wanted to fucking celebrate it, and it'd be great. And now all
Yeah.
I'm going to remember is fucking Travis Scott, man.
Right, man. It's
And
just
and this is The Rock and Triple H talking about critics and fans. That was garbage, and you
yeah.
all know it.
Exactly,
Like,
man. Listen, the bar, man, is
yeah,
fucking high, dude. The bar is just high. You're a
yeah,
billion-dollar conglomerate company with hundred thousands of creative writers. We expect a good product for the amount of money that we're paying for this product, man. The bar is just high, and we want other people, right? Whether they like certain things than others, the bar should be high. The standards
yeah.
should be higher, right? So we're like, oh, like give it a pass or like lower your standards a little bit, lower your expectations. No, how about you raise
Not for
yours, man?
WrestleMania.
Not for
Fuck
Wrestle,
no.
right? Raise yours. It's WrestleMania, right?
Goddamn.
We're
Yeah.
talking about Cena, The Rock, and all that stuff. Raise your fucking standards, man. And that's it. So as far as Cena's schedule goes, so his next appearance will be this coming Friday on SmackDown.
Friday.
This
Yeah, I figured he'd
will
be on
be the
SmackDown. Yeah.
SmackDown after Mania. Then he will be showing up May 9th, which would be not that following week, but the next week, which is May 9th on
Before
SmackDown,
Backlash. Yeah.
before Backlash, the SmackDown
Yeah.
before Backlash. Then, of course, Backlash itself. And then you won't see him again until Saturday night's main event. That's going to be May 24th, is Saturday night's main event. He'll show up for SmackDown. And then by June, he's got a weekly schedule
So are
from
all the
June.
dates are they all ready? So his dates, because I never looked at that. Like, is everything
Not
already listed?
just from this summer, at least
Oh,
from like
okay,
beyond,
okay.
at least from like August to beyond, those are still not posted yet.
I got you. I
So
got you.
going through June 6th through June 20th. So on SmackDown's from June 6th, 13th, and 20th. He is all advertised for those shows, or at least that's what his schedule is that was posted through other journalist advertisements and everything, that he will be on those shows June 6th, 13th, and 20th on SmackDown, as well as August 8th. So that'll be also around the time, of course, on SummerSlam. So I'm sure you'll also
SummerSlam.
see some
Yeah.
additional shows for SummerSlam, possibly heading into SummerSlam. But that's it pretty much. So once Backlash is over, yeah, you won't see him probably for like another 2 more weeks. So, and that's the thing, man, about Cena. When I mentioned about him being in this storyline with Orton. It's just like, all right, Orton's going to, have to carry the load and cut the promos and do what he has to do. But when Cena's there, man, like, you can't just rest on the face-to-face promos and the oohs and the ahs and like, oh, like what's being discussed from the IWC, and let's like have it spill out in a promo. Like, we got to stop with that same shit, man. We do that with every single freaking storyline, man. Like, we can't keep doing that stuff. So we'll see, man. Again, it's Randy Orton, it's Cena. Again, like you said, your boys from the Ruthless Aggression era. So I have no complaints about this at all, but I can understand why people are like, take it or leave it. So, but we'll see how this all goes about. Up next is a women's tag title match. Why? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Probably neither does this company. So this was a rematch, just legit from freaking WrestleMania Sunday. It's Liv Morgan and Raquel against Becky Lynch and Lyra. Liv Morgan and Raquel, they are now once again your new women's tag team champions. They win back.
Well, that didn't take long, James. I think you had said like, oh, they'll win it back in a few weeks. No,
I told you
next fucking night. next night. What the fuck?
I was generous. I said maybe in a week.
I know.
It was the very next night. I knew it, bro. They weren't gonna hold.
No, me too. Yeah, they're like, goddamn.
So post-match, though, is what's got a lot of people talking, as Becky Lynch post-match beats the living shit out of Lyra Valkyria, delivering manhandle slams, not one, not two, but three. He's punching her, kicking her, turning his back on her, and like Lyra's like freaking. She has this look of like just pure shock, like she's completely like taken back of what's going on with Becky doing what she's doing, right? And a lot of people are kind of ripping Lyra for, I guess you could say, her selling, to where like she's getting beat up, but like she's just like, she's not really selling it. She just looks in distraught. I'm not going to really harp Lyra on that at all. Cause like, again, if you go to history, and I hate when WWE always has to rely on history, but if you do go to history, man, like the reason why Lyra is in WWE or in wrestling period is because of Becky. Like a role model is an understatement for her. So Lyra and Becky, they're going to have this feud. I think it's good for Lyra because, again, Becky's the pro. She'll try to make it work and try to make it meaningful. But again, the caveat is, man, is that why did you need to involve doing hot potato with these tag titles just to create a moment at WrestleMania and just to win the titles back? So that's really, really lackluster. And, with Bayley too, it's just like Bayley was taken off the match just to give that moment for Becky to return at Mania, when you could have done a return at the Raw after Mania, and you could have done the same attack and it would have been no harm, no foul. So I don't know. So I don't mind the feud. I don't mind the turn, even though this is what's also weird, Brian. And I don't know how much was accomplished with this turn. I don't mind the decision to do this feud, but, and again, like wrestling fans, I swear to God, they don't know what the fuck they want. They're cheering now Becky, who's a heel, and they're chanting her and they're saying one more time to deliver another manhandle slam to Lyra, who's
to your IC champion, because it doesn't matter. It's
right. That's guys, is what's baffling about this booking, to where you're trying to have Becky turn heel. You want the crowd to be behind Lyra, but the crowd is behind Becky to deliver another fucking move to Lyra. Guys, this is a fucking mess, man. To a degree, this is a mess. Now, granted, now that Seth Rollins is aligned with Heyman, it only kind of makes sense for Becky to also play the heel, right? Because we all know that they're a power couple, so that would be also kind of awkward for one couple to where one's a face and one's a heel. That's kind of awkward and weird. So if you're going to have one of them as a heel, you might as well do both as a heel, right? To where if you want to bring it up in promos and things like that, kind of deliver some zingers and whatnot, it makes sense to do that. So
I'll take it even one further here in a sec, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I'll save that. I'll save it. But
so my last thoughts about it, man, is just, I mean, it's just the fact that I get what they're trying to do. It's unfortunate that probably Becky Lynch could possibly take away this title from Lyra, which possibly could happen.
It's definitely happening. No, that's happening. 100%.
If you want to use this opportunity to have Lyra beat Becky, but I doubt that's going to happen at all.
Nope.
But that's the most unfortunate thing, Brian, too, is that, like, all right, Lyra's finally going to be in something, I guess, somewhat meaningful because it's Becky. but she's gonna lose that title. But it's unfortunate because her title reign was irrelevant. Nobody has given a fuck about Lyra Valkyria being part of the most random matches possible. Now you want to put her in there with Becky. She loses to Becky. And then what is Lyra doing once this feud with Becky is done? She might maybe get a rematch. She might do maybe a trilogy between these three because of the history. But guys, you didn't have to do hot potato with the tag titles. You didn't have to take freaking Bayley off of the match because you knew, right? Because WWE knew there was no creative or care put into it. It was just Lyra and Bayley thrusted into a tag team because you had nothing for Lyra's championship at Mania.
Yep.
So you're like, oh shit, well, we need to create somewhat of a moment. All right, Bayley, you're out. Returning Becky Lynch, yeah, we'll put you in this match to create a WrestleMania moment. That's why they did it. So because they know that the tag division and the women's division is inept and nobody gives a fuck. So it's unfortunate. But Brian, your thoughts, man, on Liv and Raquel winning back the titles and Becky turning heel and everything else. Even with Bayley, I'm sure you have some thoughts about Bayley, but what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, so for these 5 women involved, within this from Mania and then to the Raw, man, it's a garbage ass storyline of how we got there, man. All parts of it, like. Personally, I mean, that great. Becky Lynch is back. I don't personally care if she's a heel or a face.
It's fair.
You could have just had her return as either one. Fair. There was no point, no reason why you had to take Bayley out of that, who, granted, while it's been all random, not really meaning or leading to anything, she's still been there doing all the fucking work.
Right.
You take her out just to have a moment for returning Becky, and that's great. That's great. Liv and Raquel losing the titles only to have this happen the night after. Complete horseshit. Complete horseshit. Like, there's so many. I mean, just the scenario in itself, right? Fucking, I don't know. You have the match at Mania with Bayley and Lyra, right? They're still the tag team. You have a returning Becky come out as a heel. If you wanted to start that feud with Lyra, you have her attack Lyra and cost them the match. And Liv and Raquel still retain the titles. Mm-hmm. Like, what the hell, man? So yeah, I say yes. So this is going to be a Becky, Lyra feud, and yeah, it's Becky's winning that because they're pivoting away from Lyra. I think clearly because it hasn't connected, and they're going to give it to an established star, Becky. And see where that goes. But for my girl Bayley, it's garbage. And Liv and Raquel, I mean, they got the titles back, so they're going to be fine, I guess. But having them lose it made no sense. No sense at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You guys know more about wrestling than I'll ever know. So
apparently we're just critics, Brian. Apparently we come on here and we just bitch and moan and we just complain.
You could have accomplished the same thing, having Becky return, have a shocking she's attacking Lyra, and then boom, you go into this feud with that. You could have done the same fucking thing, had Bayley there, Liv and Raquel never lose the titles. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I don't know if this is like a last ditch effort for Lyra too, to where like, all right, let's see, we're gonna put her in there with Becky.
That's what I kind of think. Yeah,
the last ditch effort to try to get something out of Lyra, and clearly it's already not working because you heard the crowd chant one more time to deliver a freaking manhandle slam to her ass. Who's your champion? So if Becky is gonna be portrayed more as the face because of the crowd, then yeah, they're going to give Becky this title and they're going to go into a 180 to where, all right, let's try to find the next up and coming star to feud with Becky to take that title from her and establish her. Because clearly with Lyra, and even with Lyra too,
and
right?
that might be Lyra down the road. Maybe she wins it back.
Maybe.
But Becky's taking this title from her.
Maybe. And I'll be honest, I thought like, Lyra's, her trajectory to the main roster was too soon because I think that there was just a lot more women in that NXT. Again, that's
which we'll talk about some.
Yeah, which we will. That's not taking away anything about Lyra and her talent, but again, it's just the timing of you bringing her up, and that's like, again, bro, if you were like the general manager of a baseball team, right? You've got all these well-established prospects on your roster, and you bring up maybe like the 20th, 25th prospect up to the big leagues, right? That's just what it is, bro. And it's no shade to Lyra. It's just that there was still more left to be desired in NXT of what she could have done.
Yeah.
And that's just it. So we'll see how this goes, man. We'll see. Again, I don't mind the feud, but again, it's clear as day that it's not going to help Lyra at all because, again, the crowd reaction tells you everything you need to know, and changing up the titles, man. So I can't really say that there was much good that overcame the bad in this situation, but who the fuck knows? We have a returning Rusev. Rusev has made his re-debut in WWE. As the New Day came out, was having a celebration, winning back the tag titles. Alpha Academy comes out to challenge the New Day. Lights go out. Rusev comes out. The New Day says, Toodles, yeah, we're not going to deal with this guy. Toodles, we'll see you later. And Rusev just completely obliterates both Tozawa and Otis from Alpha Academy. And there's Rusev's debut. He's back. Listen, it's great to see Rusev. I guess he's a heel, even though the crowd is like, yeah, Rusev. So
Rusev Day.
Rusev Day. Shout out to everybody who remembers that. So look, man, it's good to see Rusev again. I'm glad he's no longer a Miro. I'll be honest. I even said it when he first started as Miro in AEW. Again, not saying like his talent, just like the overall name and the gimmick. I'm like, what the fuck is a Miro? So obviously going back to Rusev, we knew he was going to be Rusev again. So, look, I've said this before about, re-debuts, people, with Rey Fenix and Penta. We've said it before. Like, all right, they make I guess you could say this was it wasn't a great debut. It's not like taking headline. It's Rusev. Right. People will talk about it. It wasn't like a debut to where like it was, done spectacular, right? It was like he took out Alpha Academy. So again, man, all right, he makes his debut. He's here. What is he doing? He's going to have matches with Tozawa, I guess, and Otis. That's probably what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks. So that's the problem, man. Like you're inserting Rusev back into WWE TV, and right out the gate, are you going to have anything that's going to blow people away for what he's involved in? Because you already have talent in that locker room that's not being booked properly. So again, man, why is the answer just adding? We're going to monopolize, Brian, more and more talent. They've done it with AAA. They're going to do it with TNA, and they're bringing back all these stars. Malachi Black is probably going to debut on SmackDown if you've seen his vignette. So great. It's good to have all these people here, but guys, like, what are we doing with all of these people when this company has proven to you that they are so inept and so inconsistent that nobody is going to feel any different? They're just going to feel like another person on the roster. And that's all I'll say. It's good to see them, but I just don't know where we're going to go from here when it's all said and done. So, Brian, what are your takes on Rusev making his re-debut back in WWE?
Man, like, really good to see him back. Absolutely. Like, I really do think this is a guy that has a lot to offer within wrestling, man. And for whatever reasons, like over the past 5 years, like I don't really know what he's been doing or contract wise, but I'm, obviously he's still a wrestler. He's missed the opportunity to perform, and we as the fans have missed the opportunity to see how good he can be.
Yeah.
I was, like I said, you just said, like, I'm happy he's back, but yeah, where he was, debuted back is mind-boggling. He interfered in a tag match.
Right.
Why? It's a tag match. Why?
I don't know.
But I will say this, and I'll say at the end of the show, there is a And you know, him debuting, it's not something where I think, man, no, you don't need to put him in the like, oh, we're gonna shoot him to the IC title or the no. There
Right.
is a perfect fucking spot for this guy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right fucking now, where it can be a slow build, introduction to Rusev for maybe people that don't know about him,
Right.
and it's fucking perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
they're not gonna do it. They're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it.
No, no. I mean, dude, man, him and Lana, man, were such a great tandem together, right? When Rusev first started in WWE, and for some odd reason
Well, I don't
they,
think you can because they really got divorced in real life. I don't think you
well,
can
no,
go
well, they're
back to
back
that. Or
together. Well, they're back
oh
together
shit,
now.
are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
remarried.
fuck,
They
I
got
didn't
back
know.
together. So, but even then, right? Like back then when they first started, like they were so good together. It was like peanut butter
Yeah,
and jelly
yeah,
back then. So Rusev
yep,
has a lot to offer when he's booked properly.
yeah.
But now under Triple H, it's just like, all right, well, like
I
what are
mean,
we
coming
doing,
out
man?
for interfering in a tag team match, I mean, that's
Yeah, it's like
what.
right,
So what are you
right.
gonna have? I don't know,
Who the
but
fuck knows,
okay.
man? Yeah. Again, good to see Rusev. Shout out to
Just
him,
two,
but
just happy to have. I don't know, two big meaty men in the ring slapping meat. I guess that's the payoff. Okay.
probably. Who the fuck knows? Let's get to the ladies, man. You had Io Sky. She's out there celebrating her championship victory, and she's interrupted by NXT's women's champion Stephanie Vacuor. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Stephanie, who is doing tremendous stuff in NXT.
Hmm.
She's the champion NXT, and then they issue a challenge, right? A non-title matchup, of course, but they issue a challenge to one another. Adam Pearce comes out to make it official, so it's a non-title match on Raw. However, this ends in a DQ to where Roxanne Perez, NXT's Roxanne Perez, comes out to the fray, to where she comes out. She forces the DQ. I believe it's won by Io Sky, so Io Sky wins by DQ. Julia comes out, right? Julia. Now, this is where it's really getting good. So Julia
Yeah.
and Roxy, they now have this pairing, and they're going after Stephanie as well as Io Sky, right? So you got all four ladies in there. And then all of a sudden you hear, "This is my brutality!" And it's Rhea Ripley. And I'm thinking, why? Like this may be an unpopular take, guys, but fucking
Nope, I got the same one.
why?
Yep.
Why did Rhea Ripley need to be out there? Why did you take something that was such a good fucking thing and you ruined it
Yep.
by having like Rhea? Like, is there not a nearest Hot Topic somewhere? Is there not like a nearest fucking sale at Hot Topic? Like, go over there. Like, why did you need to be a part of this shit? Why? She comes out there, she cleans house with Julia and Roxy. She faces off with Io Sky. So by the end of this segment, everybody else was just fucking irrelevant. Like Roxy, Julia, Stephanie, everybody's fucking irrelevant. And it just ends up being Rhea Ripley, Mommy, just facing off with Io Sky, who she faced with at WrestleMania. And I guess we're going to get a rematch. Guys, what is that doing for anybody, man? Like, guys, like, why did you need, like, you had, look at all of the fucking talent you had in that ring. You had fucking Io, Stephanie, Roxy, Roxanne Perez, Julia, and then there's Rhea. Right? It doesn't take a Steiner math to know which is the odd person out. It's fucking Rhea. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously. Like, I don't listen. I get it. She's now I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. She's booked this way. That's Triple H's head top females of this company, right? I get it, man,
Yeah.
but she did not need to waltz on out there and then completely make everyone else irrelevant. Julia, Stephanie, and Roxanne Perez all irrelevant by just having her clean house, and for all of it just for Roxanne Perez to stand tall. Come on, man. You took such a good thing, and then Rhea comes out, and then it completely goes in the opposite fucking direction, man. I'm sorry. Like, what are we fucking doing? Brian, any takes, man, in regards to all of these ladies involved?
Man, shout out to Rhea to Io. Love you, Io. Fucking shout out to Io. The match, Stephanie, that fucking fantastic match.
Yeah.
You know, fucking the haters, the whatever Kevin Nashes of the world. Like I get it. I hear what you're saying, but nah, that woman can go. That's nah. Fucking so happy she's champion. That Stephanie Bakir coming up. That the promo, the interaction between them was great. The
Right.
match, yes, like you meant, Roxy and
Julia.
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 and then yes, I mean, and I still love Rhea. I'm still a fan of Rhea, really, truly. But what after like what the fuck? And she comes out there, and I don't know if you called it at the end, like I don't know if she's saying it, mouthing or whatever, like you know, how dare these women like come up and try to take over my house, whatever, something
Yeah.
to that effect, right? Or no,
Right,
no,
right, right.
no, she said, and attack my friends. She said attack my friends. Go back and watch that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. I know what you
so
mean.
you've had this whole build up where both Bianca and Rhea have completely tried to make her irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
You have three women come up from NXT, which when they were all in there, that was great. That was exciting. It was captivating. And then you have Rhea come out and do that,
Mm-hmm.
and to save Io, who now is your friend. Like if it was going to be a thing where, so I don't know if these three women, now Stephanie. I mean, well, yeah, Bakura is still the champion, so she's going back down to NXT.
NXT, right, right.
Yeah, Julia and Roxy, I guess maybe they're gonna be main roster, and sure, EO would need backup, but it
Right.
ain't fucking Rhea. It ain't Rhea, you
Right.
know.
Yeah, man. It's
Ah, man,
what are we
it
doing?
started off so good.
Yeah.
The promo from EO,
Right. Yeah.
from Stephanie Bakure,
Right.
Julia and Roxy. Yeah, that was great, and they fucked it up with a dumb like. Yeah, I don't know why it's Rhea coming to suddenly help out EO, because how dare NXT women come up here and attack apparently her friends who you've shit on for the past 2 months.
Right.
God damn it.
Come on, man. And like I said, now all you can remember now is these NXT talents just getting run out by Rhea. Like that's your lasting image, to where now they're
Yeah.
just a complete afterthought and irrelevant, because Rhea Ripley, she wants to get back at her title, and she had to help out her friend, right? It's just like, guys, what are we fucking doing, man? Like,
Yeah.
seriously, you didn't need to do any Steiner math to say, yeah, one person does not belong in this segment. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that it was
Yep.
Rhea
It was
Ripley that didn't
Rhea.
need to be involved in this shit,
Yeah.
man. Come on,
Yep.
guys. Taking such a good thing and you're going the completely opposite direction with it, man. To where, like, guys, why? Because Rhea needs to get back her championship. Like, guys, what is Rhea Ripley
Yeah,
at this
man.
point?
If you're telling me, man, that better not be a fucking EO and Rhea match at
All
Backlash.
of
Better
all of
fucking
that,
not be.
like all of that, just to
Or a
get back.
fucking triple threat, or goddamn man, give
Right.
EO something, goddamn it.
Right. Like, it's like you would think, right? Because WrestleMania represents as what, right? It's like when a door closes, another one opens, right? For Io Sky and her title. All of that just for Rhea Ripley to get a future, what, a rematch at Backlash, like a one-on-one at Backlash, guys. Come on, guys. So we've
Yeah.
seen this rematch countless times building up to Mania, and now we're gonna see it again at like, fucking stop. You put all of these other great talents, great female talents in this ring, all for Rhea
Yep.
Ripley just to come out there, clean house, and to get another title opportunity. Stop it, man. Enough.
Well, did they announce that? Like, is that the match, or
No, it
we're
hasn't been announced,
speculating
but
here?
just
Okay, okay,
speculating of what's
gotcha.
going. I mean, she's going to go after
But
that title.
that's a very likely outcome. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's most like, and again, they could maybe add another person in there, like you mentioned. But yes, it has not been made official yet. No, but clearly because of how Rhea interacted with Io and the
Yeah.
championship, the face all, it's gonna happen. Like, it's gonna happen whether they add another person or not. And guys, again, my question though is why? So where all of that, you've debuted NXT talents, or yes, granted, they're going back to NXT. But then when they come back onto the NXT rounds, like, oh yeah, aren't these the same two people that were taken out by Rhea Ripley a couple weeks ago, months ago? That's what people's first impression is when they see people like Julia, people like Roxanne, right? Granted, Roxanne was the final two participants in the Women's Royal Rumble, to
Right.
where
Right.
I don't know what Roxanne is doing between main roster and
Yeah,
NXT. It's so
because
odd.
she's been up there enough,
Right.
on the main roster with appearances that, like,
Yeah,
what are we doing?
She was in the elimination chamber matchup. She was in a matchup with Tiffany Stratton. So she's just
Yeah,
overstating her welcome in NXT to where like she's taking countless losses. She took another loss last night to Stephanie Vacuor because that's pretty much what they were, I guess, doing into a degree because Stephanie and Roxanne they had an upcoming
right.
match, so they built up some tension there. So
Yeah,
still, man, like again, the booking guys is all over the place, dude, to where you have to place if you're gonna have NXT talents come onto the scene, you have to put them in a spot to where it makes them really truly larger than life and captivating and badass, right? All of that was just for them to get laid out by Rhea. That was it. Guys, that like that's not
yep.
me sugarcoating it. That's just what happened. And it was not needed at all.
And still, even again, it's one of those things where, like, again, the last thing, here's Io who just won at Mania,
Yeah.
but is she, I don't know. I don't mean to split hairs here, but like I'm looking
Right.
at the optics and whatever. Like, is she the one standing? She kind of was, yes, at the end, but that should have been a celebration of her and the match she just had with Stephanie because it was
Yeah.
fucking great.
Absolutely. All right, man. So let's move on from that before my eye starts freaking twitching. So, Jey Uso comes out with his world title celebration. We pretty much, guys, we yeet for pretty much like what 20 some odd minutes, including the promo segments that we'll get to in just a second here. So Jey Uso comes out, of course, being in a celebratory mood, right? Saying how hard he's worked and he's thanking the crowd and being very emotional in a way. Sami Zayn comes out, returning Sami Zayn, saying how proud he is of Jey Uso. Getting to that, he says sucks that he had to miss WrestleMania, and he sucked that he wasn't there for that entire situation with Gunther. But they embrace, they celebrate with one another. Jimmy Uso comes out, and guys, they all just start yeeting for several freaking minutes, guys. That's what this was, and I guess what we could plant seeds moving forward between Zayn and Jey Uso in a matchup. I guess that's what people are saying, guys. I don't know. Brian, I mean, now let me get to Gunther, right? Before we get to Jey Uso, right? Because Gunther,
Yeah.
he came out afterwards, right? This is what is really fucking weird. So
Yep.
Gunther comes out and legit just throws a temper tantrum, right? So where like you ever see like those movies that's like it's supposed to be in a funny way, but it's like those funny like oh I'm so angry I just want to beat somebody up, and they pick like the weakest person in the fucking room. That was Gunther.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
going after the
Michael
commentators,
Cole.
Michael Cole. To where like he locks in the choke on Michael Cole because like I guess he's like Michael Cole's like oh it's like don't get upset at us because I wasn't the one that tapped out, right? Going after the whole, of course, playing after the whole tap out situation with the matchup against Jey. So he's attacking. He goes after Michael Cole. He puts his hands on him. Pat McAfee tries to come to the aid for Michael Cole. He ends up just getting laid out, getting choked out by Gunther. And that was pretty much it. So you have security and officials come out. And that's it. Now, I usually would love these types of segments, right? It's where like you put a lot of time and a lot of just a lot of time to breathe and everything, right? To make it a really a climactic moment in a way, to really make the moment breathe, right? But guys, like you just like if Gunther's situation is to where he's so upset at losing the title, Jey Uso was just out there for 20 plus freaking minutes. You could have just went out there and then have him do a confrontation with Jey. Then had some officials and security come out and say, hey guys, now's not the time. They try to escort Jey out the ring. Jey, Jimmy, and Sammy, they all leave the ring. And then maybe Gunther hears something from Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. And then that's why just in the moment, he hears everything from commentary and then he just takes his frustrations out on commentary, right? Like that makes more sense because like, bro, like you look like a schmuck just from going out there several segments later when Jey Uso was out there for what felt like several 20 plus freaking minutes. So it's just the timing of it, man, doesn't make sense, bro. It doesn't make sense. It's not making Gunther still look good. It's just like, oh, well, James, but he's being the heel. He's picking on the commentators. Guys, I've seen this dude pick fights with people like Ilya Dragunov And we've seen him fight against people like Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, all these fucking people. This dude's not a chicken shit fucking type of heel. He's fucking Gunther. Like, what are we, guys, what are we fucking doing? And as far as Jey goes, I'll try to make this short. I mean, guys, look, listen, I hope fans are happy, right? He got this title. People got what they want. He's could maybe be in a feud with Sami Zayn. Maybe if you want to tell that story to where Sami Zayn, I guess, turns his back on him in the future. I don't know. That's just pure speculation. But guys, I'm telling you this right now. This dude cutting the promo, this dude was like breathing so heavily and he's so hard because he was yeeting nonstop for like already 3 or 4 or 5 freaking minutes before that. The dude is so out of breath, right? He talks about, like, Rikishi and other people talk about how exhausted he is and all of this stuff. And guys, and it shows in the ring too, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like, this dude has been exhausted. It shows in his in-ring work. And I'm sorry that I have to keep saying this, guys, but I'm going to just say it once again. When Jey Uso, as a tag team guy, is one of the best in this industry along with Jimmy, as a singles performer, the dude is just not it. I'm sorry. That doesn't take away Jey Uso and his overall talent. But guys, there are people that are just more superior over others as singles performers. And unfortunately, Jey Uso, outside of the yeet shtick, does not fit that mold. You did it for 1 week with Gunther when he took out his brother Jimmy, which gave you at least more of a reason to care about Jey. But all freaking nonstop, man, to where all you're going to do is Jey Uso come out with that shiny new title, and he's just going to do his entrance. He's going to yeet nonstop and maybe do a feud with Sami Zayn, I guess, depending on how well it's booked. I mean, we'll soon find out. But and that's it, guys. So, like, he's outside again, man, of the shtick and everything else you see this dude bring to the table within his wrestling and everything else. It doesn't gel. It doesn't mold. It's not consistent. I know that's really not, it's not a fair take. It's not maybe a popular take to say, but guys, it's just the fucking truth. I'm watching what I'm watching. It's just, I don't know what Jey Uso is going to do that's going to move the needle, that the needle hasn't already been moved, because the ratings are still the same. The merchandise sales are going down, even though Jey Uso, yes, is one of your top merchandise sellers, but the merchandise sales are still going down. The numbers going up towards WrestleMania were also going down. So even within this storyline within Jey and with this whole Daniel Bryan storyline, it was never moving the fucking needle. So now with Jey Uso being a champion, what are we doing now that's going to move the needle that hasn't already been moving the fucking needle? Brian, your thoughts, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can add to that. I mean, this is what it is. You know, you and I have been saying it before. Like, we know what this is going to be before it even happens. Like, This is just going to be one of those things until people run out of gas with the yeets, which they will. This is what it's going to be. And you're right. I mean, Jey Uso, it's not like it's not hating on Jey Uso.
No.
Jey Uso's his whole fucking promo shtick is Stone Cold Steve Austin's what gimmick? That's his whole shtick. Just replace Yeet. And he doesn't do it as good.
No.
I mean, that's
no.
You know, and then you Yeet for 7 minutes. And that's a Jey Uso segment.
Yeah.
It doesn't accomplish anything.
No.
It doesn't. It's not telling a story. No. Or I guess it is kind of telling a story in some aspects, but I mean, it's not. And if people are talking about Sami Zayn as no, I think that would be fucking horrible. I don't think Sami is gonna, or at least I hope not, because I think, I mean, Sami just got out of the feud with KO, in which that was a friendship, you know. No, Sam, you can't put Sami. No, I think that would be horrible, man.
I agree. But again, that's just what I'm hearing, so that's why I bring it up. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know who Jay's first opponent's going to be, and I don't. I really hate to say it, but I mean, I'm just waiting until who's the guy that takes it off of him, because it's. if Jey Uso, if this is still nothing changes here, right? It's just the yeets,
Yeah.
the Stone Cold esque what promos.
Mm-hmm.
If we're still here at SummerSlam and he's still champion,
Yeah.
that's horrible. And
Yeah.
that's why, like, he's not even making it to SummerSlam with the title. I don't think.
It wouldn't shock
So
me if he
yeah,
does, though. It wouldn't shock me if he does.
I guess I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't know, man. This is again, I don't know what people expect or what creative expects or Triple H or The Rock or what do you expect when you yourself know you've booked this whole thing on Yeet?
Yep.
Yes, Jey Uso is a hard worker and yes, he's a fantastic wrestler. All of those things, and has he earned it by putting in work? And yes, they
Absolutely.
all
Yeah.
do, but
Absolutely.
no, the world like this is just built on Yeet. That's what it was
Absolutely.
built on, and
Thank you.
it's
Yes.
yeah.
To a degree, yes, you do deserve it and you have worked hard. To a degree, you could say you've even earned this championship. But guys, we talked about going into WrestleMania, right? To where you had so many blockbuster feuds that were sitting in your lap that were really going to truly feel like WrestleMania. You blew your
Mm-hmm.
load with freaking Gunther and Jey Uso at Sunday Night's main event. Then you had him win the Rumble to have the exact same matchup at that Saturday night's main event. There was hardly no fucking build up to this
Yep.
championship, and now you expect us to care of what the aftermath is going to be for this freaking title. With, like you just said, Brian, everything is on the back of this freaking catchphrase, and that's it. So
Yeah. Two more things real quick. Gunther. I mean, for shit's sake, like you know who he's wrestling at Backlash? Pat McAfee. Like that's
right?
that
Yeah.
like real this is
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you have for Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee.
What? And I'll say this about Jey too. Again, this is also part of creative decision, I guess, too, where like Jey, like you say he earned it and whatever in this WrestleMania moment, and I appreciate that. I really do like that for Jey.
Mm-hmm.
But now the booking, like you can't get more creative and do something else with Jey than just this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So moving on.
Moving on, man. Seriously, enough of that crap. Let's get to AJ Styles and Karrion Kross. So Styles is backstage. Karrion Kross interrupts him, talking about the match against Logan Paul from the matchups on WrestleMania Sunday. And he's like, oh, it's like, Kross, or at least Styles, at least his reasonings for not using the brass knuckles in the matchup. He's like, listen, I would have used that brass knuckles. I would have won the match and would have meant absolutely freaking nothing, right? It would have been absolutely nothing. So they go back and forth, and then they say some more words, and Karrion Kross walks off. So I don't know, man. Kross is so freaking good, man. It's just like he's always in these segments to where it's just like
so good.
He's so freaking good. And man, if you've seen Karrion Kross's work on social media in a promo that he cut, he's kind of talking about the matchup, but then he goes further beyond the matchup, talking about his creative booking to a degree, talking about how you hear the crowd, you hear, people, the outroar for, the work and my character, but yet, you freaking, all these ideas that I have, and you want to say, he's like, oh no, we're going in this route or whatever. So clearly Karrion Kross cut this promo by himself to where he's trying to word it to where it's still relating to the matchup with Styles and Logan Paul. But dude, it was done so flawlessly. It was so freaking good. If you guys have seen the promo, you know what I'm talking about. It was right after post show of WrestleMania Sunday. So yeah, man, that's Brian. Any thoughts with Styles and Kross? As I know you got some stuff to say about Kross, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna forget half of it, but shout out to Karrion Kross, man. Legitimately, like I gotta tie this back into what we were talking at the beginning with The Rock and Triple H and booking. What Karrion Kross has been doing with Final Testament. God damn it! Like I don't know why they're released. I mean, fuck, and we talk about Triple H and his knowledge of wrestling, and yes, he does have it.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Ellering, AOP, I mean, and you have and Carrion and Scarlett there. Like, man, I just like that. That is captivating professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
What Karrion Kross, those promos that he just cut, what he was doing in the Final Testament, when he came back, shit, I don't. What's it been? 3 years ago now, and he comes back, and Roman's in the ring, and he's just got the clock, and it's tick tock. Nothing ever fucking happens.
No.
I mean, I don't know what else to say other than when you hear Triple H and The Rock talk about the fans and critics or booking and hey, I'm inserting myself into the story, but I'm not part of the story. I just don't know. And then you don't have a guy like Karrion Kross on a WrestleMania card, or even on your Raws or your SmackDowns. Yeah. That's what's wrong with professional wrestling.
Did you hear that crowd, by the way, bro? When freaking Cross came onto screen facing with AJ Styles, the crowd was loud. Like, they cheered him loud. I mean, like, dude, I don't know what other piece of evidence you need outside of what this dude brings to the table. Now the crowd is definitely seeing what we've all been seeing since the beginning.
James, you and I, since we started, I can't remember. Because, again, Karrion Kross within the WWE, he's been so sporadically booked. He's been here. He's been released. But I don't know when we started talking about Kross, but very early on, I would imagine, because he's always, you can see it. It comes off the camera, man. I don't know.
His talent reminds me of Bray Wyatt, man, and why I loved freaking Bray Wyatt for so long, man. I'm telling you, it's that exact same. Again, I get it, different types of personas and characters, man, but the exact same type of skill sets. Where if you could put him in there for 10 to 15 minutes, man, he'll believable. Absolutely, yep. You believe the mannerisms, the little things that he does within a matchup, the storytelling, every little detail that Kross does is better than pretty much half of that roster. But yeah, as far as this promo goes, I mean, it looks like he's going to continue this stuff with Styles to where, like, oh, Styles is like, it's just like, it would have meant nothing if he's the brass knuckles. Like, you keep wanting me to change into that persona that I was just a year or so ago. I'm not going back to that. Like, and, I'm not, you can take that or I'll take you down with me or something along those lines. Right. And Kross is like, oh, maybe I will. So clearly they're still teasing maybe another rematch or something along those lines. So again, I don't know where this is really going now. I don't know to where we're going to do another rematch with Styles and Kross. Maybe Kross might pick up the W to where it's a 50-50 booking thing. Cause I mean, they're not really booking Styles that properly anyway either. So it's fitting for both of these individuals to be in this situation too. But man, anyway, moving on. So, an IC title match. This was Dominic against Penta. A returning JD McDonough or JD McDonuts returns. He costs Penta the matchup while the referee back was turned. Dominic hits the 619. He hits the frog splash, and then he picks up the W. So of course they're telling the story as well with Finn Balor. Obviously, it's where Finn Balor's everybody's on the same page, but Finn Balor is like kind of like. I didn't know JD McDonough was supposed to be out here, so clearly he wasn't a part of the plan to bring in JD out there. So clearly Finn Balor is not in control as he wants to be. So clearly we understand what's going on there. But guys, this match makes no sense. This dude, Dominic, he's clearly turning more as a face. At least that's what the crowd, after that freaking reaction that he got. So you think after the crowd reaction that he got freaking this past Sunday, you think it's a good idea to put him in there with another fucking face at Penta that you've been trying to build up for weeks now? Guys, what are we doing? Like, guys, this is not me being negative. This is me just stating the fucking obvious. You don't have to be, guys, like a creative mastermind or a pro wrestling guru to figure out that this shit is stupid. Like, what are we fucking doing, bro? So they're still playing off the heel role with Dominic, even though, again, the fans are now cheering him. This dude's being cheered like he's Stone Cold or The Rock now. And you think it's a good idea to put Penta, another face, in there. God, like, you got to read the fucking room, bro. Like, what are we doing? And that's all I'm going to say. Brian, what are your takes, man?
Yeah, the same, man. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, what the fuck? Again, it's the booking.
Yeah.
Great to see JD back. Really,
Yeah,
I've been a fan of him since he was in NXT. I really do like him, man. Great to see him back, as I talked about with Dom winning the title. I think that was the right call, and this is great for Dom. But you're like, this shit between the Judgment Day as a whole, and shit, you can go back to when even Rhea and Priest were in it. It feels like this thing has been in limbo for so fucking long. Like, Jesus Christ, man, you just had the match at Mania where Finn and Dom are fighting each other for the title. Like, you've got to start really fucking breaking this shit up and telling this story, because we've been here at this spot with the Judgment Day for months.
Mm-hmm.
And
right,
like, bro, it's okay. JD's back. Obviously, you're slow playing that with Finn, but bro, Finn's back. The whole Judgment Day is here. Fucking get this shit into high gear and tell this story and end this, for God fucking sake.
Seriously, exactly.
But shout out to Dom, and yes, knowing and here's even what I'll say again, and again, I think Triple H, The Rock, TKO, if you're a goddamn wrestling fan, as you are, the booing of Dom, right? As long as that's been, it started off, meaning like, yes, we're booing you. A lot of that boo in recent years has been almost, dare I say, a respect and the fans playing into the gimmick of with specifically Dom, because as you saw at WrestleMania, the WWE universe loves and respects Dom, and he's earned that.
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
So yes, you see that reaction, his first title defense, and you put him in against Penta. Why? Why?
I don't understand, bro.
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine. It makes
so, and even if that, you had that match, but I don't know, that match booked. Look, you change plans all the time. You could have picked any fucking heel in the locker room to have Dom's first title defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because all in all, he was going to pick up the win, and it was going to be more of a story within the Judgment Day anyway. So, God damn it, man.
Yeah, man. Moving on. So let's get to this main event here. Main event segment. You had Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. They come out and they're interrupted by CM Punk. CM Punk and Seth Rollins, they come to blows. CM Punk gains the upper hand. He turns his attention to Paul Heyman, gets his hands on him, pushes him into the turnbuckle. Rollins comes in, low blows frickin' CM Punk. So now Rollins has the upper hand, takes out CM Punk. Paul Heyman gets on the microphone, says a few words. Roman Reigns comes out. Roman Reigns comes out. He's trying to get his fair share in with Seth Rollins and also with Paul Heyman. He takes out Seth Rollins, delivers a Superman punch to Paul Heyman. Then once again, he's going after Seth Rollins. And all of a sudden, Wabaka, he's hit with a spear by Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins have now formed this alliance that has now in the head of
dangerous alliance.
Dangerous alliance, bro. I love it. I love the fact that you that you said that, bro. This is starting to look at like that. If you guys remember way back when in WCW, right, there was a faction when Paul Heyman had like the telephone, right, the cell phone, right, when he formed that way
Paul E. Dangerously.
way back when he was Paul E. Dangerously, exactly right. with Dangerous Alliance back in WCW. That seems like what they're doing here. Where Braun Breaker, again, he hits that spear to Roman and the beatdown was on. Frickin' Seth Rollins, he hits another stomp to Seth or to Roman for good measure. Roman was also speared again by Breaker through the barricade area, and that's when they brought him back into the ring, and then that's when they hit the stomp once again. And you had Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker all standing tall as Monday Night Raw post-Mania goes off the air. All right, man.
All right.
I mean, all right.
Yep.
Listen, here's what I'll say, right? First of all, Braun Breaker. This is probably the best Braun Breaker has looked since he's been on the main roster. It's not even fucking close. So look, man, Seth and Braun together. Now, clearly, there's going to be more people added into this, right?
There's got to be. That's what there's got to be.
Probably after Backlash, or maybe at Backlash, to where they're going to introduce a new persona, a new person into this. I guess you could say now alliance or a faction being formed, right? Now, again, with Paul Heyman constructing it all, but we'll see in regards to who that person is going to be. But yeah, man, it's got WCW Dangerous Alliance vibes, and I'm all for it, man. It's got my attention. However, man, we can't go the route to where we know this is going to lead to probably a Backlash, right? It's going to lead to a tag match, right? It's going to be Punk. It's going to be Roman against Breaker and Rollins,
probably,
right? It's just like, all right, man. It's just like we don't need. This is what we can't do, right? We can't just now, go about things to where we're getting to a tag match, right? And we do this generic tag and this generic can we coexist bullshit between Punk and
after
and
they do the single, and then we'll have the singles. It's Punk against Braun, and then Punk against Seth
Braun
again.
Breaker, Seth against freaking maybe Punk again. Maybe you'll see a Seth and Roman Reigns one-on-one match being thrown onto a big major Monday Night Raw show at a big top venue, right? Maybe like a Madison Square Garden or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So I hope that that's not what we're doing, but it looks like that's what we are doing. But clearly it looks like to where a third member will probably be revealed at Backlash. That's, at least that's what my gut is telling me. So look, man, I mean, listen, I'm all for it. It's got my attention. Again, this is the best Braun Breaker has looked since he's been on the main roster. This is how you portray Braun Breaker. We've talked about Breaker and Paul Heyman, joining forces and being a Paul Heyman guy. And again, this is obviously all in the vision of Paul Heyman as well, by the way. So where Paul Heyman is the mastermind behind this creativity of putting all these people together and where it's going. So
probably
at least majority of it, right? Majority of the decisions, at least like how this is being structured, is probably Paul Heyman. We've known that he's been the mastermind within the Bloodline storyline for all this time now. Along with many other people as well.
He's a goat.
This dude's a fucking goat, dude. I mean, there's nothing else to say about Paul Heyman that hasn't already been said.
Yeah.
But Brian, I'll send this off to you, as it seems like you might have an idea of who should be a member of this alliance. So I'll let you have the floor, man. What are your thoughts?
Well, I got two people in mind. Well, first of all, let me go back and shout out the original Dangerous Alliance because I remember them well, and now so Stunning Steve Austin, Bobby Eaton, Larry Zbyszko. There's one or two other people. Fuck, who am I forgetting? Arn Anderson.
Yes, Arn Anderson. Yes.
Was there one other one? There was another.
I believe there's one more. I believe.
Shit, who am I forgetting? Anyway, I'm sorry that I am forgetting that.
That's off the top of my head, too. I got to figure that out, too.
Yeah, so shout out to all of them because I remember them back in the day. And yes, great faction, man. So if this is what that's going to be, yeah, I'm all for it. Two people. We had mentioned a returning person earlier, Rusev. Even though they got Braun as the muscle, I think Rusev would, in a Dangerous Alliance, Rusev. And Becky Lynch. Those four, and you have maybe one other guy you might add, but Becky turning heel, put Becky in there. So yeah,
Makes sense because again, the power couple with Seth and Becky, so that makes that's actually because a lot of people are also saying because I was like taken back. People are saying like Carmelo and Austin Theory, like no, those are. I'm sorry, guys, like those people. I mean, Carmelo, yes, the dude is he's still got ways to go, but I think somebody like I like the Becky idea to where like Becky and Rollins and doing heel work together. I think sounds cool. Rusev. I mean,
I think so. Just like Braun and Rusev as the muscle. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, and by the way, so the members, Michael P.S. Hayes, you had Rick Rude, Steve Austin.
Rick Rude.
Yeah, Rick Rude. Yes, Rick Rude. I forgot about how can I forget Rick Rude, man?
Sorry,
obviously,
rest
Arn
in
Anderson,
peace.
Bobby
Ravishing
Eaton,
Rick Rude.
Medusa, of course. So yeah, the Dangerous Alliance. We don't know who those
because I know there was and there was different I think Meng might have been in there.
There was
point.
I think it was like ECW. There was like an ECW version, AWA version, I believe. Like way back when as well.
Yeah.
There was like different members as well. I think again, I'm forgetting these people off the top of my head, but I think Sabu was part of like the ECW.
Or maybe it was Sabu and not Meng. Maybe it was Sabu.
I think it was
Sabu and ECW.
Sabu and Sabu and ECW. I think Jimmy Snuka was part of ECW too. Now that I'm thinking of that as well, I think it was Jimmy Snuka and I think Taz too. Taz was a part of that too. ECW, man. And see though, even listen, man, is like James, like how old are you? How do you remember this stuff, dude? I'm telling you, bro. I love professional wrestling, dude. I do my research, and I have also. WWE Network and all this stuff. But bro, I go back all the time and watch old stuff all the time, man. So I know a lot about this shit. So I love.
But I'm thinking like a perfect faction, right? Or the best type of faction, I think, needs to be 4 or 5 members, right?
Yeah.
So in this one, you got Heyman as the manager, mouthpiece, leader, whatever. I think you need 4 guys and Becky. So Rusev, Braun, Seth, one more guy, I don't know who that is, and Becky.
Mm-hmm. I like, man, because with Rusev, man, I mean, listen, we talk about what Rusev is going to do, right? Is he just going to be on his own?
Yeah, right. I mean, you throw him out there in a tag team match, like no.
And it's just, and the thing is,
get him with Dangerous Alliance.
As much as Rusev does have a lot to offer, as a singles performer, just as a heel. Right, especially re-debuting and starting a new leaf, right?
That's what I mean.
I don't mind that, man. I mean,
kind of like slow build. You don't need to like throw him in the IC matches or whatever.
That's not going to benefit him at all, right? To where like you can benefit Rusev to where you put him in this faction and he's like a new version of himself, to where a new version, a new sort of leaf in a way. So yeah, I'll take that over what the IWC is saying. They're saying like Carmelo Hayes. And people like also, as soon as I heard Austin Theory, I'm like, no, because people are also making relations with, I guess, the Evolution, right? With Evolution and how like, Seth Rollins is playing the part of Triple H, and you have Braun Breaker, who's like the Batista, and now you're trying to find the Randy Orton, which I guess they find similarities of like the look, I guess, and because the fact that Austin Theory is still young.
Forget Evolution, man. Dangerous Alliance.
It's Dangerous Alliance, man. That's exactly. I'm so glad that you brought up Dangerous Alliance, man. To where, like I get it, Evolution, to where maybe some people in my era, that's what kind of comes across, man. But I'm telling you guys, if you don't know what Dangerous Alliance is, man, do your freaking research, bro. Do your research. WCW, again, there's ECW, AWA versions of this whole alliance again, that's all in the mastermind of Paul Heyman. Like that this is Paul Heyman's alliance, which is why, Brian, I say like this is Paul Heyman's bidding. Majority of this is Paul Heyman's bidding because it's his alliance. So look, man, again, it's and
I do want to comment, and I mentioned it like, previously, like, so while I like that, the Heyman, Rollins, Breaker, I think you need to add a couple. Yes, that's great. Mm-hmm. But now we're getting, so Punk and Roman are now partners. Like,
So we'll see how that portrays and whatnot. But look, man, listen, here's what I'm gonna do. Monday Night Raw after Mania as a whole gets this right here.
Yeah. We'll see.
For 1 week, though. For 1 week, you actually decided to finally get creative, whether that was maybe locking Triple H in the supply closet somewhere to where he's not having creative control, whatever it was, of course, just joking around, of course. But Look, man, I mean, good show. I mean, this show felt more like WrestleMania than
Yep.
WrestleMania did.
Yep.
And look, and that's, at least we got that. And now we'll see if that continues. That momentum continues, I should say. But I mean, Brian, going off of past history, we know it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen, right? We're hopeful, right? We're hopeful that, all right, this new faction, this whole storyline with Heyman, with Punk and Roman, you have other avenues, I guess, but at least we have something. And at least, again, an ending to the show to where you're interested to see where it goes and who aligns with who. Guys, that's all we ask for, man. That's all we fucking ask for on this platform, is to give us shows like this. And that's the thing about WWE, and what pisses me off is that they know how to structure and how to format a show. They can still do that in the right corrective way, but most of the time they just choose not to. They're lazy, and they choose to go into a different direction. They sell out because it's all about
record
revenue,
revenue,
like we talk about.
Revenue.
So yeah, man, WrestleMania is pretty much done and over with. Now, granted, yes, we still got SmackDown after Mania to talk about as well, which we'll probably talk about.
Black, maybe
another probably re-debut for this coming SmackDown as well. But look, man, after what was a shitty WrestleMania, to put it honestly nicely, they at least rebound themselves, right? They came back with full fists and arm, and they put on a decent show for one week, and we'll see where things takes place. But the problem is, Brian, it's the consistency. It just comes down to consistency, and as of right now, WWE does not have a reputation of that whatsoever. And until that changes, that's just what we're going to believe in. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was another edition of the Ruthless Talk podcast, man. What a week, I should say. What a week and a half it's been. So much content that has been on the platform. Thank you guys so much for always checking out our stuff. Of course, the podcasts, of course, everything on social media. It's been a crazy, hectic week and a half, 2 weeks of WrestleMania content. So we want to thank you guys so much. And of course, we still got SmackDown after Mania to talk about, so stay tuned for this weekend. Of course, we got some AEW that we will try to chime in before our finale season is over, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And of course, you see the banner down below. Make sure you do follow us on Instagram and TikTok. That is Ruthless_Talk. If you guys want to watch more of our podcasts, we are available right here on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Again, give it a Braun Breaker Spear, give it a curb stomp, give it a freaking GTS, give it a super kick, give it a freaking a Rusev freaking
Stone Cold Stunner,
a Stone Cold Stunner. Do whatever the fuck you got to do to hit that subscribe button, man. Subscribe. Of course, stay notified as well for when episodes are published out. And of course, we are also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to all of our listening audiences as well. So, of course, still a bunch of stuff to go over that includes WrestleMania for SmackDown. Stay tuned for that. And, of course, like we said, this coming week, your boys are taking the week off. It's been a lot. We are pretty much burnt out. At least for me, I am burnt out because the build and how everything has been so fucking shitty. So your boys need some time to at least to regroup, because we do got Backlash coming up and lots of other exciting stuff, including AEW and many other things. So just make sure you guys stay notified and stay tuned for more content to come. Brian, your final thoughts before we end the show.
I want to give if you can see my hat here, I'll try to zoom in there. DJ Springs, man. It's been a minute, but I want to get a quick shout out to DJ Springs, man. Local North Carolina talent.
Absolutely.
Up and coming. Maybe you'll see him on your TV one day, man. And James, help me out here. I can't. I'm having a brain fart. Is it XCW? XWW?
It is Extreme World Wrestling is what DJ is a part of. So XXW, you are correct.
XWW, man. So
XWW.
Check him out on. He's got YouTube clips, man. So anybody, wrestling fans, go check out DJ Springs, man, and give him some support.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, shout out to DJ Springs. We had an interview with him. So if you guys want to check out that interview episode, that is on all of our platforms right now to check it out. But yeah, shout out to DJ Springs, shout out to him, and of course, shout out to everybody, of course, who has supported this platform
out there on the grind and busting their ass, man.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. So again, hopefully we see more people like DJ in the wrestling industry on television for the future endeavors. So again, much love to him. Again, a kid who is who is so young, but also he's got his head on his shoulder. He's such a good kid. And he always supports the platform. So we want to give a shout out to him. So much love to him.
Absolutely.
And again, much love to everybody who continues to support the platform. And we are now 7 seasons in, approaching 7 seasons and beyond. And man, there is still so much to talk about, still much to go over. So stay tuned for all of it. And that is going to do it for today's episode, everybody. My name is James Porcelli.
I'm Brian Thomas.
Until next time, there will be a next time. Your boys are signing off saying salute.
Peace out.
And take care, everybody. Top guys, we are out.
Frail, the skin is dry and pale. The pain will never fail.